Good evening. The Nigerian military has released important updates concerning airstrikes that were conducted in partnership with the United States in Sokoto State, and what we are learning reveals a major operation targeting terrorist camps in the northwestern part of our country. This is a story that has captured national attention, and the details are quite significant for understanding Nigeria's ongoing fight against terrorism. The strikes took place in the early hours of December 26th, hitting two major camps in the Bauni forest of the Tangaza area in Sokoto State. According to Nigeria's Information Minister Mohammed Idris, these locations belonged to groups affiliated with the Islamic State. These were not random targets. Intelligence reports showed that these camps were being used as assembly points where terrorists were planning large-scale attacks against Nigerian communities. The operation happened between 12 minutes past midnight and 1:30 in the morning using 16 precision-guided munitions deployed from MQ-9 Reaper drones. Additionally, Tomahawk missiles were fired from a United States Navy warship in the Gulf of Guinea. This combination represents one of the most significant joint military operations between Nigeria and America in recent history. The targets were militants from groups like Lakurawa and elements of the Islamic State Sahel province who have been infiltrating into Nigeria from neighboring countries. Now, for those unfamiliar with Lakurawa, this group emerged around 2017 when some traditional authorities in Sokoto invited them to help protect communities from armed bandits. But things went wrong. Instead of leaving after helping, Lakurawa became more oppressive than the bandits themselves, imposing harsh rules, carrying out kidnappings, killings, and robberies. The Nigerian Ministry of Defense noted that the presence of these foreign fighters linked to the Islamic State represents a serious escalation of the security threat facing northwestern Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu personally gave approval for the strikes after consultations with American officials, including U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This was not America acting alone, but a coordinated effort between both governments. The Nigerian Armed Forces emphasized that careful planning and intelligence gathering went into this operation to minimize any harm to civilians. During the strikes, some debris from the expended munitions fell in two locations. One was in Jabo, Sokoto State, and another in Ofa, Kwara State, where debris landed near a hotel. The good news is that no civilian casualties were reported. However, residents of Jabo expressed shock because their village has no known history of terrorist activity. A lawmaker representing Tambuwal described Jabo as a peaceful community where Christians and Muslims live together harmoniously. The fact that missile debris landed there caused fear and panic among villagers who never imagined experiencing anything like this. Nigerian police and bomb disposal units were quickly deployed to secure the sites and reassure residents. United States President Donald Trump announced the operation on Christmas Day, calling it a present for terrorists. Trump has been vocal about what he calls the persecution of Christians in Nigeria and had threatened military intervention if the violence did not stop. However, Nigerian officials made it clear that this operation was not about protecting any single religious group. Foreign Minister Yusuf Tuga stated that Nigeria is a multi-religious country and that the government is working with partners like the United States to fight terrorism and protect all Nigerians, both Christians and Muslims. In fact, the majority of people living in Sokoto State are Muslims, and terrorist groups in the region have killed people from both faiths. If you are finding this report helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss important updates like this. Defense Minister Christopher Musa pointed out something important. He said military intervention will only solve about 30% of the security challenges facing northern Nigeria. The remaining 70% requires good governance because the Nigerian government has limited authority in many rural villages across the northern territories. Security analysts are weighing in on what these strikes mean for Nigeria's long-term security. While some see it as a significant escalation in the fight against terrorism, others caution that airstrikes alone will not solve the violence Nigeria faces. The root causes include poor governance, lack of state presence in remote areas, economic hardship, and porous borders that allow militants to move freely between Nigeria, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Experts note that while these precision strikes may weaken terrorist networks temporarily, the militants have shown a pattern of relocating quickly through the vast forests connecting several northern states. The armed groups simply move to new locations on motorcycles, taking advantage of difficult terrain and limited security presence. What we are seeing is a new chapter in Nigeria's counter-terrorism efforts. The fact that the United States directly participated with naval vessels and drones shows the level of international concern about the spread of terrorism from the Sahel region into West Africa. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth suggested that there is more to come, indicating this may not be a one-time operation. The Nigerian government has welcomed this cooperation and framed it as part of a broader strategy to address persistent threats of terrorism and violent extremism. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that Nigeria remains engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners and that all actions are consistent with international law and mutual respect for sovereignty. This is important because it emphasizes that Nigeria requested and approved these strikes rather than having foreign forces act unilaterally on Nigerian soil. For ordinary Nigerians living in affected areas, the impact is real. The people of Jabo woke up to find missile debris in their community, something they never imagined would happen in their peaceful farming village. Fear and uncertainty ripple through communities, and trust needs to be rebuilt through clear communication and continued security presence. The Nigerian military has assured citizens that ongoing operations are geared towards securing the state and ensuring protection of lives and property. Sokoto state authorities have urged residents to remain calm and trust that security forces are working to address the threats. The broader picture shows Nigeria is at a critical juncture in its fight against terrorism. The infiltration of Islamic State-affiliated fighters from the Sahel represents an evolution of the threat. These are not just local bandits, but part of transnational networks with access to training, weapons, and ideology from across the Sahel region. The military coup in Niger in 2023 disrupted joint border operations between Nigeria and Niger, creating gaps that these groups have exploited. Lakurawa became more active on the Nigerian side following that coup, and their presence has grown more deadly. The Nigerian government says it remains fully committed to protecting lives and property and has vowed further action against transnational extremist networks. This suggests more operations may be coming as intelligence continues to identify terrorist positions. The partnership with the United States appears to be deepening, with America providing intelligence, strategic coordination, and direct military support through drone strikes and missile attacks. For Nigerian citizens, especially those in northwestern states, vigilance remains essential. If you see something suspicious, report it to security agencies. Community cooperation with security forces is vital for identifying and preventing terrorist activities before they escalate. There are also calls for government to address underlying issues that allow terrorism to flourish, including poverty, youth unemployment, lack of education, and weak governance structures in rural areas. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family so they can stay informed too, and hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. The Nigerian military's updates on these Sokoto airstrikes reveal a coordinated, intelligence-driven operation targeting serious threats to national security. While the immediate military action appears successful in hitting terrorist camps, the longer-term challenge of securing Nigeria's vast northern territories and addressing root causes of insecurity remains. This story will continue to develop, and we will keep you updated as more information becomes available. Stay safe and stay informed.